Order.
I know.
Good morning, everyone. First thing, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the prior committee meeting. Motion by Evelyn, second by Edna. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. With that, I'll turn it over to Maureen.
Okay, our first action, agenda item is a request to change the vacant position of the part-time assistant social services attorney, 20 hours per week, with a salary to a full-time assistant social services attorney salary of $62,500. And we have posted it twice as part-time, and the first time we didn't get anyone. The second time we got 2 people. The person that would have been eligible when we told him the things that he could not do, if he was working for us half-time, he couldn't do it, any criminal work, whatever, then he couldn't support himself. So we're here and we think that we're at the point where we need to do it full-time so we can have somebody. We're also concerned what's coming up in January, the 2 family courts going at the same time. So it'll be hard to split our attorneys as it is. And we will probably be taking some of the county attorney that does part-time work for us in support. We will probably be taking that back from her. As so we were just hoping that people would understand this and approve.
Motion. Matt, seconded by Evelyn. Any discussion?
Yeah, obviously, this was brought before Paul.
Pardon?
You reviewed this?
Yes, I have, and the need is there, definitely. There's no, in my mind, there's absolutely no question for all the reasons that Maureen just said. We evaluated this as part of the budget team as well. The duties and responsibilities that those attorneys have are, as you know, are just incredible in terms of the child protective services, adult protective services, the prevention work that they're involved in, as well as all the other financial aspects of social services. They definitely need that assistance, I think.
With that,
Is there any other questions?
Rachel?
Maybe I'm not recalling it correctly, but was there some discussion at some point with sharing another attorney position with the county attorney's office? And does this affect that at all, or how does that interact? Or maybe I'm completely...
There was. We actually had, that was a proposed idea at one point, was to see if we could hire one attorney that would be shared between the 2 offices. And that just didn't get any traction. And in fact, what Maureen has suggested now, and this is the next step, I guess, that will be coming before you, is we've had some conversation about picking up, as an alternative, picking up the duties that Amy Bartlett currently has for social services and making her full-time just county attorney work. So that would actually balance out in the end, and it would seem, when we really looked at it, it would seem to make a lot more sense, because instead of having one attorney trying to be in 2 places, in 2 worlds, if they have a full-time attorney and then that $35,000 that Martin had in his budget, half of Amy's salary is being paid by social services, so if they pick up that work, then that $35,000 he had for the part-time attorney will just make Amy full-time. So it comes out the same, but you're absolutely correct, Supervisor. We had discussed that as a possibility, and it just didn't seem to, like I say, it didn't have much traction in terms of working its way through with both social services and the county attorney. And in the end, I think this solution actually turns out to be a better solution.
Okay, so then the next step is addressing Amy's.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, any more discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Our next action item is an attempt to fill the vacant position of a social welfare examiner, number 41, grade 8, step 0, in the temporary assistant unit due to resignation effective 8/2015. Our person resigns because his wife got a job out of state, so we are in need of this. This job works with our homeless population, and we have 3, examiners that work with that, and that caseload is very demanding. You have to spend a lot of time because we always try to make sure that they have other options other than, coming to us. So we point them to relatives, friends, whatever we can, to help them work through that, and then try to get them, jobs. And so those examiners are very busy.
Motion moved by Ron, second by Edna. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried.
Third action item is a request for permission for Cynthia Schrock-Seely, our Deputy Commissioner, Chief Legal Counsel, to attend the Interstate Substance Abuse Convening in New York and Vermont, strengthening collaborations. It's in Burlington, Vermont, from October 7th through October 9th.
Motion made by Evelyn, seconded by Edna. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Our last, request is to, one of our social welfare examiners wants to enroll in, at SUNY Albany and take 2 courses this year, and, we haven't done this in a while, but we used to do it, several years ago. I think somebody was doing it.
Move
I'll
to-
move it to get it on the floor, but I have a question.
Okay, do we have a second? Evelyn, discussion.
I know we've done this with some other departments, but I guess my question might be a question for Paul, but do we require at all a, signed contract or anything saying that they're gonna stay with employment for a certain period of time after completing the course? I mean, obviously the county will make the investment for the continuing education above and beyond what would be normally provided in training, but what's the commitment to the county as a result of that, education?
This is controlled by the collective bargaining agreement that we have with CSEA, and if you, and there is something in there, and I just can't remember, I don't wanna misstate it. If I could just have a moment, I can grab it out of my office and I can give you that information.
Okay.
I'm sorry? I don't know, do we pay all of it or half of it?
50%.
50%? Is it reimbursed after
Yep, they
they
pay
get a certain GPA or higher?
Yep, they have to have a C or better.
A C?
I know, C.
Really?
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Well, if county's paying half, you'd think you'd be a little bit higher than a C there.
I got a C once.
Do we pay their textbooks too?
That's what I was asked, were the other ones Ds?
A C one.
I got an I once too, but I changed that into
An
a B.
I. We are getting that. Do we also pay for the course material? Yeah, 100%.
No, I think everything is 50%.
Oh, everything.
Didn't always pay for.
I think it is. Paul's
He'll have
bringing
it.
in the contract.
$6 here.
Per credit. And if every employee did it per credit, wouldn't you wanna know? What, was that a roll of the eyes? Sorry, Supervisor Solomon.
If every employee did this, I think it'd be great.
I know, I'm all for continuing education, but a C,
By the way, my GPA,
what was it?
3.76.
Like, what were you doing getting
Oh,
a C?
sure.
What happened that semester?
My father
Okay,
got
falls
it.
back.
Okay,
So,
Nope,
Huh?
falls back.
I'm sorry.
So the contract provides that county employees will be allowed to take job-related courses with the prior approval of the county board. Upon satisfactory completion of the course with a C or better, the county will reimburse the employee 50% of the cost of tuition and fees. If an employee does not work for at least 18 months, consecutive months after completing the course for which the county has reimbursed the employee 50%, the employee will refund to the county the total amount paid by the county to the employee.
how's your
It's an
Common
excellent
Core
program.
math?
I'm sorry?
How's your Common Core math? What does it cost the county per credit hour?
Well, it depends on the number of credit hours, if it's a 3-credit course, 4-credit course, 2-credit course, I think we can move on.
Next.
Ah, I got it. I'm with ya.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any
Oh,
other
there we go.
discussion? Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. And there are no pending items. We'll move to, is Deanna, she's not gonna be on the, okay. I'll move on to Julie.
Okay, for our overtime report, we're still, coming in pretty good, staying well under last year's figures, so we're doing great there. And a lot of that, of course, is because we haven't had a lot of turnover of staff and out training and that kind of thing. So we're real happy with our overtime. And then for 2015 revenue and expenditure. Our revenues are still coming in very slow. I did talk to Dan, because I couldn't run a revenue report for you because it hadn't been posted. So I did attach an email from him stating that 600,000 had come in. And he also has assured me that for August, we've gotten in over $2 million. So while it's coming in slow, it is coming. And typically, we always do better the last 6 months of the year. So I was real happy to hear that. Our expenses are really coming in right where we would like them to be. We're, after 7 months of the year, looking like it's gonna be under if we keep our expenses the way they are. And then for next year, apparently we're not doing the budgeting till next month, but you will have an opportunity because you were sent the cover sheet to kind of take a look at what our budgets are gonna look like. They're gonna change a tiny bit, if changes are made, but for the most part,
Paul?
Mr. Chairman, on the expenses and revenue report that Julie just gave, Julie is very straightforward, matter of fact. What she doesn't tell you, though, which came out in our meeting with the budget team, is the fact that this department, with Julie and Maureen's guidance, they are watching the funds. They are giving employees and staff instructions on exactly how to get reimbursements back. They watch how they code things. There's a top management here going on in terms of these expenses and reimbursements that you folks should really know about. And you wouldn't pick this up normally. You would, because Julie makes it sound like it just kind of happens, and it's almost like lucky that we're working things out. But it's more than luck. They are doing an incredible job, and I just think it's important that you note that, because you just don't see that on the surface unless you really, like what we did. We were going line by line through their budget. We were talking about how they control cost, and I got to tell you, it's impressive.
I echo that. This is my first time sitting in a budget committee, and I was really impressed. And I'm thankful for the work that you guys are doing, because it's impressive.
just lastly, I did include, our June claims and July, just so you know, this is what we're expecting for revenue to come in. So, I didn't want anybody to get too nervous about the revenue.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, if there's nothing else from the committee, a motion to adjourn. Ron, seconded by Evelyn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Good job, Bill.